WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, hello, hello. We are here at the Community Bell Show. I am not Etna Bell, but I am her daughter, Alicia Bell, Wayne County Commission Chairwoman, and it is a pleasure to be with you today. Very excited to have a great show full of information that you will find informative on a few topics regarding what's going on in Wayne County. Well, let's start with a few things going on in our national news. As many of you know, Ron DeSantis has dropped out of the Republican presidential race, so now it's just a two-person race with Donald Trump and Nikki Haley, and that will be interesting to see how that unfolds. It looks like in the fall we will have a repeat of 2020. So we're going to stay tuned, but I want to encourage everyone to exercise your right to vote. And in Michigan, we have a few elections this year. On February 27th, we do have our presidential primary. So make sure you come out to vote in that. I will tell you that I am a supporter of the Biden Harris ticket. I'm not going to go in it today with a list of the accomplishments that that administration has done for us, but hopefully in a future show, Edna Bell will go through that. But the primary again is on the 27th of February. We fought very hard to move Michigan up in the primary race so that we can really have a voice on who is our candidate for president. Now, this year, of course, since Biden is running for reelection, there's not going to be a lot of names on the ballot. However, if it and when it becomes an open seat, it will give Michigan a great opportunity to be a forefront in deciding who the presidential nominee will be right before Super Tuesday. So we are excited to have that opportunity. But this year, February 27th, is the presidential primary. Then, of course, in August, we have our primary for everybody else who's running for office this year. And that would be your state reps, that will be your county commissioners, that will be your county-wide seats, such as Wayne County and throughout the state, as a matter of fact, prosecutors, county clerks, register of deeds, treasurer, sheriff, all of us have our primary the first Tuesday in August. So please make sure that you listen to all the candidates and you go out and make an informed decision about who you would like to represent you in the primary. And then, of course, we have our general election in November, where again, we will all be back on the ballot, Lord willing, if we make it through the primary, as well as our presidential election. So that is going to be a or this I should say, is going to be a very busy year as it comes pertains to people running for office. But please remember your vote counts. I cannot stress that enough. If you recall the last presidential election, a lot of the states, it was just a few thousand votes that determined from Mr. Trump to Mr. Biden. So it just amplifies the fact that every voice and every vote counts. And then, of course, I today was at a press conference with our governor because if you can believe it, 51 years ago today, Roe v. Wade was made law in this country, giving women the freedom to decide what to do with their bodies. That decision came down 51 years today. And then, as you all know, in 2022, the Supreme Court reneged on that decision or reversed that decision and put it down to the states to make the decision on what women can do with their bodies as it relates to reproductive health. I had a press conference. The governor of this state was kind enough to ask me to give remarks at a press conference, just talking about the importance that what Michigan did here to give women the right to decide what to do with their bodies. And that's what it is a fundamental decision on giving women the right to what they want to do with their bodies without the government telling them what to do. It should be between that woman, her loved one, her family, and her doctor, not the government. So we celebrated what we've done here in Michigan, but we do know that there are some people on the other side who would rather not see that right of women. So we have to just fight vigorously to make sure that we have the right to do what we want to do with our bodies, reproductive freedom is so important. So it was a great press conference with Congresswoman Haley Stevens, the governor, doctor, as well as the executive director of the Michigan Reform Michigan for reproductive health. So that was exciting. And then I was also at another press conference this morning talking about what we're doing about redistricting. That's been a hot subject as of late. I'm sure if you've been looking at Detroit news, you have seen all the discussion about these House seats here in Michigan that unfortunately have diluted the Black vote in Detroit. The way the Michigan Redistricting Commission drew the lines, it took it like a spoke. They took Detroit and then they spoked it out to Oakland County, to Macomb County, to other cities in the area. And it really diminished African Americans in the state house and state senate. So there has been a lawsuit filed and won. So now we're going through the process of getting testimony again, just as we did a couple of years ago, talking about what fair representative maps look like. So I am happy that shortly we will have on Sherry Gay Degnogo, who has been spearheading this effort. She's a former state rep and a current school board member on Detroit City Council, and we will hopefully have her on soon to talk about this very important issue. But before we do that, let's talk about some county stuff. So, as you know, we received, and I say we, Wayne County received roughly $300 million in American Rescue Act dollars after the pandemic. And we wanted to make sure that we were spending that money on things that were going to be impactful for our entire county for years to come. We want to make sure that quality of life issues were issues that we discussed and we put our monies at. And what are quality of life issues? Going outside, being able to recreate, being able to have great park systems. Those are the types of things that we really wanted to make sure we focus our monies on. We contribute about $20 million to the Joe Louis Greenway project, and if you're not familiar with that project, it's a wonderful greenway that's going to go across the entire city through Highland Park down to the Riverwalk. It started right here at Joy Road between Wyoming and Livernois in my district, and it is almost complete at that section. It goes down to Warren Avenue, just east of Wyoming. There's a beautiful recreation where kids can play, a playground, a fire place, a restroom, wonderful amenities right there at Warren and Wyoming. And then it's going to go through Fullerton. It's going to go into Highland Park and eventually go down to hit the Riverwalk. Is going to be a place where you can go outside, you can ride your bike, you can walk, you can stroll your child down in a stroller, kids can play. It's really going to be something similar to the Atlanta Beltway. If you've ever been to Atlanta, and they have a beltway system that's just a wonderful park system down there. Ours is going to be better. And I'm so happy it's named Joe Louis because that is just a wonderful person for this park, this walkway, this trail to be named after that will have lasting effects for our community for decades to come. When we had the opening back, I think it was year before last, his daughter and granddaughter and son came to the event. They came to Detroit from Las Vegas because they were so excited about this project that has their father's name on it. So I'm just so happy that it's coming along beautifully, and I can't wait to walk on it and to ride my bike on it come the summertime. It's going to be fabulous, and I suggest anyone and everyone who can hear my voice take advantage of that as well. As soon as it's complete, it's going to be wonderful. And talking about quality of life issues, when's the last time someone was able to go to the Riverwalk downtown? I sit on the board of the Riverfront Conservancy, and we do an amazing job of transforming that walkway. I think we won 3 years in a row USA Today Best river walk in the country. So, and we've expanded something beautifully. And in 2025, we're going to expand even more to the Ralph Wilson Park. It's going to be behind the post office, the main post office downtown, right behind Ford Street, right on the water. The old Free Press building is going to be a fabulous park that is going to have so many amenities. Again, our park system in Detroit and Wayne County is one that rivals any park system across the country. And this park would be no different. So even in the wintertime, if you like to walk and get your exercise in when it's above 32 degrees, because it's been kind of cold lately, but if it's above 32 degrees, you can walk down the river walk. You can stop at Valade Park where we had the Fire and Ice Festival a few weekends ago, which was awesome. And then, of course, there's the Playscape, there's a splash pad. Now we can walk the Uniroll site right next to Belle Isle. The idea was to have a river walk that goes from bridge to bridge, and that would be from the MacArthur Bridge, better known as the Belle Isle Bridge, to the Ambassador Bridge, and that is complete. So it is an awesome, awesome thing that if anyone who remembers back in the day, about 25 years ago, 23 years ago, 22 years ago, you could not walk down our riverfront. It was not good. It had the silos, the concrete silos. It was just full of debris. It is now something that will rival anybody's riverwalk in the country. So please take advantage of that stretch of miles that goes along our beautiful Detroit River. Hey, you know it's funny. I There was a cruise ship. If you saw last year, we had several cruise ships come to Detroit to and they docked at the port of Detroit. And one of the crew persons said, "Oh wow, look at the Detroit River. It's blue." And I said, "Yeah, we have pretty clear river." They said, "Well, I'm used to looking at the Mississippi River and it's brown. This river looks amazing." I said, "Yes, it does. Detroit has so many wonderful gems that people from across the country don't even realize until they come here and then they are fascinated. And I love to show off my city and my county." So I just thought that was funny that she was surprised that the water would look blue and it wasn't brown like the Mississippi River. So wonderful things to do in Detroit, even in the wintertime. But back to what I was talking about with our ARPA dollars. We gave $20 million to the Joe Louis Greenway for that project. And that project is over $100 million, getting state money, federal money, and county money. So that's going to be awesome. Some other things that we've done, I have a list here. We've contributed to a new community center in Redford Township that's going to be marvelous. A new senior center in Livonia, a revitalization of New Boston, parts of Cherry Hill in Canton. We have participated and given funds to Highland Park. We're able to demolish some homes that need to be demolished in Highland Park so that they can have a revitalization in that city. Very proud about that. We've given money to the Motown Museum as they renovate, which is awesome. We can't wait till the Motown Museum opens. That's going to be what it should be, which is a world class museum. I went to Stax Museum in Memphis, and they had the car of oh gosh, what's his name right on top of my head? I can't think of it, but they had Isaac Hayes. They had Isaac Hayes' car, convertible car, in that museum. So our Motown Museum is going to be the first class museum that it has been, but it's going to be even better. So I can't wait till that is up and running, and we've contributed to the funding of that as well. And then, of course, a couple of big things. We gave $13.5 million to Wayne Risa. Wayne Risa is our Wayne County Regional Educational Services. And what did we use that money for? Mental health. For the school districts, not Detroit Public Schools, we're on our own school district, But Wayne Risa, we gave them $13 million for mental health services that is going to be so impactful for our children. Let's go back. We always talk about literacy is important, and it is, and math is important, and it definitely is. And we always give money towards literacy and math because they are very important. You need those skills. But in this day and age, we also have to recognize the importance of mental health and giving back mental health and making sure that our children are receiving the mental health services that they need. So I am so excited that we were able to make that investment in our children at the Wayne Risa Regional Health Agency to help our young people with their mental health services. That's going to be awesome. Also, we gave money to help our health department. Two big projects. We just had a press conference on this last week. Is Narcan. So, what is Narcan? Narcan is the approved drug to help someone if they overdose. I learned something new about this. Fentanyl, unfortunately, is in a lot of drugs: cocaine, heroin, even marijuana. And they put that in because it's a synthetic drug. It makes the product go further. If you can put like synthetic things, it makes you can have a bigger stash of it. But it can also kill you. And it doesn't take a lot of fentanyl to kill you and to have you go into overdose. What this not Nican does is you spray it up your nose. It tells signals to that the fentanyl tells your brain to stop breathing, so you overdose and die. The Narcan goes up into your system and it blocks that system and it makes you say, okay, you can breathe now. Then you can breathe and you come back. So we are going to have 100 vending machines across Wayne County that will have Narcan available in places based on data where we see overdoses have occurred. So we're working with Wayne State to identify those locations, but having this Narcan drug will significantly help those persons who are in an overdose state. It should be as common as a band aid because you cut yourself, you want something to stop the bleeding, you put on a band aid to protect it. If you should know someone that unwillingly took a fentanyl and overdose, you want to have this Narcan available to bring them back to life. So we are using money from our opioid lawsuit settlement to provide this. And it's going to again save lives here in Wayne County. It is controversial, of course, because someone may say, well, you shouldn't overdose or use drugs in the first place. But it's a fact of life that that happens. And a lot of times people don't know that, well, not a lot of times, almost always, they don't know they have this fentanyl in the product that they're using, which causes them overdose. So to have this Narcan available is going to be a game changer in saving lives. Without it, people will die. With it, people can stay alive. So we have to look at it from that lens. Controversial as it may be, it's going to save lives. And I'm proud that we are taking that bold step here in Wayne County to do something different, but it's going to save lives in the long run. So that was a big announcement. And then a few months back, we had another announcement on how we're going to help people with asthma and other lung compromised diseases because we're going to have a system called Just Air. Just Air is a company owned, realized by a young Black entrepreneur here in Detroit, where it's going to help young people with their asthma. What it's going to do is detect the quality of air in our community. Let's say you have a child with asthma and they're out playing, you'll have a device on their belt buckle or somewhere on their person that would detect, hey, the air quality is not really good today. You should probably play inside today and not outside. Unfortunately, we have a number of young people in Wayne County with asthma, and this is just going to really help them from having asthma attacks, going to the doctor, to the hospital, to the ER, because their parents will be aware of the quality of air outside. So that's going to be a game changer. It's called Just Air, and I'm just so proud. Is as I stated, a young black fella invented this, and if you look. I was happy to see that he was featured on a President Joe Biden commercial a few weeks back. So you'll see him talking about entrepreneurship, talking about life saving measures, and this is one of those life saving measures called Just Air that we'll be implementing also very soon in Wayne County. So those are some of the things going on as it pertains to what we're doing with our ARPA dollars. Very exciting stuff. So, what else is going on in Detroit and Wayne County? Let's see. We're waiting for Sherry to come on to give us this exciting news about the lawsuit and what's going on with redistricting. But there's always something going on in the city. We're so excited, and I'll be remiss if I didn't say go Lions. After that exciting game on yesterday, we are headed for another playoff game. And I am betting that we may go to the Super Bowl. So I don't know how many folks out there already have your tickets to Vegas, but I'm going to think positive and I'm going to say, hey, we're going to make it all the way. We're going to beat those 49ers next week. And we are going to go to the Super Bowl, which will be, I think, this town would lose their minds if we make it to the Super Bowl because all of our lives we've been waiting for the opportunity to do that and to have it this year would be absolutely amazing. So, I think it's possible. So I have a girlfriend. She's a big 49ers fan, and we were fussing last night. My team's going to be your team's going to be my team. But I think we have a good shot of beating the 49ers and then going to the Super Bowl. That would be absolutely awesome. So I can't wait and I may have to fly out to Vegas to be there. Probably can't get tickets to the actual game because they are like I'm sure astronomical. But just to be in the space, Las Vegas is already fun time, crazy on a regular day. For Detroiters, it's going to be all that in a bag of chips. So I can't wait till next Sunday till we play this game, and we're gonna pray for a win. And I don't even know to win a Super Bowl would be great, but just to go would be, that would knock our socks off just as much if we just made it to the Super Bowl. So, tickets are $1 million. Yeah, they are very, very expensive, but just to be there would be absolutely exciting and amazing. So I'm contemplating going because this has not happened in my lifetime, and I'm 55 next month. So it would be absolutely exciting to go to the Super Bowl with these Detroit Lions. So exciting. So let's see what else we got going on. So as I talked about with the county, we had a very good year last year. In November of 2022, I started a task force called the compensation and benefits, just so that we can take a deeper dive and explore what our compensation was to our employees. We had a lot of feedback about, we should do something to increase the compensation. So we looked at that. We had several public hearings, talked to some elected officials like our county clerk, our county prosecutor, and then working with our county executive, we were able to increase salaries, starting with our public safety sector. So, unfortunately, our jail personnel, our sheriff deputies, We're kind of low end of the totem pole when it came to salaries. We were not in line with Macomb and Oakland County, so we were able to increase their salaries, which is awesome. So now that they have more money that they are being given, and then we went over to our prosecutors, because again, if you're a lawyer, you take on so much debt going to law school. And then if you're in Wayne County in the prosecutor's office, your caseload is, so much higher than the caseload of a prosecuting attorney in our neighboring counties. You get a lot of great experience, but with that great experience that you're getting, you want to be make sure that you're getting paid equitably. So we were able to increase the salaries for our prosecutors as well. So now we're working on our county clerks. That's also a very important part, who are, again, not being paid what they should be paid as well. So I look forward to us adjusting the county clerk's pay. So stay tuned for that. And then for those of you who are in need of your death record, your birth certificate, marriage license, we have a lovely new vital department is at 400 Monroe. And if you know where that is, that's also where the treasurer is, right there in Greektown. A great floor has been renovated. Thank you so much to the leadership of County Clerk Kathy Garrett. You can go there, get all of your necessary vital statistics, and it's a wonderful place. It's not crowded. It's a large space. They take care of you. I went just as a regular old citizen, no special privileges, just went, and I was so impressed with the operation and how efficient and effective that area is. So if you're in need of your birth certificate or your CPL or your marriage license, any of those vitals, at 400 Monroe is where you would get that now. And it will be a very pleasant experience because we're out of the cramped halls over at KMAC. So note that for yourself if you're in need of those services. Let's see, what else do we have going on in Wayne County? Of course, as always, from the new law, not new anymore, but about, I don't know, gosh, 20 years ago, the number of years that you had to have delinquent taxes went from 7 years to 3 years. And unfortunately, that 3 year time spell was very hard on people. And unfortunately, the law stated that if you were in foreclosure after 3 years, the county treasurer across the state of Michigan had to foreclose on your home. We have been working to make sure that we have instituted several programs so that people can make payment arrangements, payment plans, because as we say, we need your tax money, but we do not want your house. We do not want anyone's house. We just need those taxes to pay for the services that we all enjoy, such as, roads. We had potholes filled and paved over several miles of work this past summer. Of course, the work that we do with our health and human services and our veteran services, those are what your tax dollars go towards. It goes towards services. So we don't want your house, but we do need the taxes. And the way county is funded, we're funded through property taxes. That's the bulk of the money of our $2 billion budget. The bulk of that is coming from property taxes. That's how we fund all the services that we have. So it's very important that if you think you're going to be delinquent with your property taxes, that you contact the treasurer's office because there will be a program for you to keep you on track because we do not want your house. We do not want to foreclose on anyone's houses. We want to make payment arrangements for you and to make sure that you can continue to stay living where you're living. So always contact the treasurer's office because this is the time of the year where those foreclosure notices are starting to go out in the March time frame. So know that and be mindful of keeping up on your property taxes. Something else going on. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. in February for the National Association of Counties. Legislative Conference. That's the conference when commissioners from all across the country get together and we talk about our legislative priorities and what we're doing in our respective parts of the country. There are 3,000 counties in the country. That's a lot. So 3,000 counties across the whole country, and us commissioners, we come together and we just get briefed by the White House. We get briefed by the different secretaries. Secretary HUD will come in and speak to us. Some of our United States senators will come speak to us. We had the president come speak to us last year, which was very exciting to have President Biden with us. So we have a great conference just learning about what other counties are doing as it pertains to programs so that we're not reinventing the wheel. If they're doing something wonderful in Harris County that we can do here in Wayne County, let's look at that and see what that looks like and see how we can do that and do something different for our citizens here. So that's a wonderful thing about that conference is in Washington, D.C. We have an opportunity to go see our Congress people as well. So that is also a wonderful experience to go see our senators, go see our Congress people, and just really look to see what's going on new in our federal government as well as with our commissioners throughout the country. So I'm on the Public Safety Committee, and on the Public Safety, we talk about juvenile justice, which is so very important right now here in Wayne County. As many of you know, we moved out of the juvenile building downtown and we moved our young people over to the Dickerson facility in Hamtramck to have a little bit better spacing and provide a better opportunity for those young people. We've asked Team Wellness to come in and help our young people with their behavioral health concerns, and it's moving along. And we will certainly be moving into the new criminal justice complex this year, and that will have a new building for our juveniles. It will have a new jails for our adult population, and it will also replace Frank Murphy Hall of Justice. So if you've ever been to the criminal court at Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, that will also be at the new criminal justice complex. That complex is located off of 75 and Warren. It's a building that if you don't know what it is, it just looks like an office building. If you're just driving down the freeway, you look up, you say, "Oh, there's a new office building," when it's actually the new jail. And with the new construction of jails in this last 20 years, they make them not look like jail so much. Because they don't want them to look they want them to look like nice office buildings. So we should be moving in to that facility. Not we should. We will be moving into that facility this year. Again, it will house the old Frank Murphy courts, the adult population, and the juvenile population, as well as the sheriff's office building. So that is going to be, a long time coming. If many of you remember the first time we attempted to do the jail on Gratiot, and that didn't work out too well. So now we are this close to being at the one on Warren and 75, and I just look forward to being a place, a humane place for our the people that we are holding, for our deputy sheriffs for sure, for the young people, for the judges, for everyone who is involved in the criminal justice system. It will be a humane place that will treat everyone with dignity. And we look forward to moving into that space. When we move into that space, the Gilbert companies bought the other buildings. So I don't know what their plans will be for Frank Murphy and for the old juvenile detention facility. I suspect they will tear those buildings down and build up something else. But I don't know what those are. That's the Rocket. has those properties, and they'll do something right there at that Gratiot corridor once we move into the new jail. So it's a long time coming. We're finally going to be there. And again, the reason we needed the jail was because the old jail was old and dilapidated, and it was not safe for the people that we had in custody or for the deputies. So this will be a safe, humane environment for all of those persons who work there. So as soon as we get a date, I will certainly let you know, and we can come on and talk about it, and possibly have the sheriff come on and talk about it as well. So speaking of the sheriff, we are always looking for deputies. If you have a young person or not so young person in your life and they're looking for a career, coming on in the Wayne County Sheriff's Department will certainly be a great career for them. They will work in our jail system, but there's also other opportunities. But everyone starts there. It's kind of like that's where you get your training from, right there in the jail. And then after you've done that, for 6 months to a year. You can transfer into other departments within the sheriff's office, the Marine unit, the Tether unit. There's a lot of different units that you can transfer into. So I think every once a month, this show does have someone from the sheriff's office to come on and talk about what that looks like. So we look forward to hearing from the sheriff in the upcoming upcoming show to talk about what that's going to look like. So let's see. It's oh my goodness, what's it? 4:43. Oh, time sure does go fast. I was hoping that Miss Sherry could come on, but we might have had some technical difficulties. But let me share with you this information since she could not make it. So the Michigan Independent Redistricting, they will have public comments all this week. So we're already at today, Monday, and they're just about done for today. Well, let me see. I'm sorry. They end at 6 o'clock. Oh, she said she's in. She's on. Sherry, can you hear me? Are they letting you in? You're backstage. If someone is able to let Miss Sherry Dagnogo in, she says she's backstage. I don't know. Oh, look like someone's letting her in, maybe in our last few minutes. But I'm going to keep on going while we work on that. Today and tomorrow, there will be taking testimony at Huntington Place, which is the old Cobo Hall, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. They'll be having testimony. We can come on and talk about why you think the line should be redrawn. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they will be at Cadillac Place, better known as the old GM building. And they will have testimony being taken from 10 a.m. on Wednesday, 9 a.m. on Thursday, and 9 a.m. on Friday to 5:30. So please come down and give in-person testimony, or you can come online. Okay, hey Sherry, how are you? I see you're here. We got about 3 minutes.
Well, that's okay. I was listening to you and I was learning so much. I was like, whoa, this is good. Whoa, this is good.
Waiting on you, ma'am. So this is Sherry Gay Dagnogo, former state representative, current Detroit Public School Board member, and this community activist. And she's going to talk quickly about the redistricting committee, and then if she wants to add anything about DPS CD. Go ahead, Sherry.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. We have some exciting and breaking news tonight. You did an exemplary job talking about all the services. I have to shameless plug. I do work for Teen Wellness Center. And so, yes, I'm very excited that we have a number of your youth on, youth at Teen Wellness Center. And we're looking forward to hosting more of them to make sure, as you said, we give them better opportunities, exposure, education, and training. But we are excited tonight to announce here on your podcast, or the Honorable Edna Bell podcast, that we have been victorious. Thank you for standing with us today.
Oh, awesome.
I expected that the decision would come next week, but we have the decision a lot sooner. The 9 Supreme Court justices have denied the request for a stay.
Oh, awesome.
And that
awesome.
decision just came in just moments ago.
Breaking news. I
And
love
that's
it.
why it took me a minute to get on with you because my phone has not stopped ringing and I just had to put it on do not disturb for a minute. But thank you again. I think your comments were dead on this morning. Historically what we have endured in the city of Detroit and Wayne County and the leadership that you have taken the mantle, even having your mom to serve in Wayne County. And we are so proud to have a sister, someone
Yes.
that our children can look up to that represents our county.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful for the sisterhood that we've had over the years. But we are grateful that the decision has came a lot sooner. We got an early Christmas gift. Now I have
Awesome.
an early birthday gift.
That's right.
Of all 9 Supreme Court justices ruling that the state is denied. And it's important, though, that people still go down and give testimony
Yes.
on the maps. Pay attention to the map drawing that is taking place, even online. If you can't physically go in person, I, for one, think that they should have held these meetings somewhere that was more accessible, somewhere with parking.
Right.
Wayne County Community College District would have been a much better choice on the east and the west side.
Absolutely.
But they will be at Huntington Place, again, as you announced this evening at 5 o'clock, I believe it is. I'm not looking at the list in front of me. Is it 5 or 6?
It's from 6 to 8:30.
6 to 8:30 tonight. And they will be at Huntington Place again tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then again at 6 in the evening. And then they will be at Cadillac Place on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So there's no reason that people can't make sure their voices are heard. Listen, this case was fought with 20 African-American plaintiffs fighting to make sure that Detroit has adequate and fair representation. And it's not just Detroit, because Council President Pro Tem Virginia Williams, former Councilman Devontae Sherrod from Ecorse,
Yes.
Council President Pro Tem from Romulus, and various others, Mayor Glenda McDonald from Highland Park. A number of people were a part of this case. And so this is a historic victory for the people here in Michigan, for the people of the city of Detroit, and our urban centers who have lost members from our Black Caucus. So thank you again for your dedication and helping us get the word out to make sure that people go down and have their voices heard.
Absolutely. We want to thank you so much for your advocacy on this very important issue. As we spoke about earlier today, we grew up with the great, Irma Henderson, John Conyers. We had all of those people right here in our community, Morris Hood, Cheese Kilpatrick. And what's going on with the current maps, they just shrink that so terribly that our young brothers and sisters, they're looking at people who may not look like them, and then they may not think, well, that's not something I can attain to because I don't see anyone that looks like me in these positions. So we have to really understand the importance of this. And you also mentioned about Alabama. They kind of were the first ones to have victory in this space, and now we're following suit. And I'm so happy the Supreme Court has agreed with us. So now we can go forward and make this happen. So thank you so much for your advocacy on this work.
Well, thank you for your alignment. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your encouragement. I tell people all the time, you may see one particular person out front fighting, but there's a host of others that have been encouraging, lending their support, lending their ideas. And I just thank you for your leadership as well. That's why you're the chairwoman.
And that's why you were the caucus chair.
Thank you so much.
Anything going on in the DPS we should know about?
So yes, thank you. We have a board member. We have a board meeting tomorrow evening. We will now be over at East English Village. I can't even get it out. I'm so excited. East English Village, Finney. Just Finney. Let's just say Finney, okay? Tomorrow evening, and we know that that's Councilwoman Letitia Johnson's district. So please join us tomorrow evening, 5:30, at East English Village, Finney High School. Please forgive me for all the alumni that gets upset when they hear East English.
I know. They're like, no, that's Finney.
I don't know what to say sometimes. So please come on out and join us. We know that we will be deciding on the literacy funding very soon. So please stay in tune with what's going on. Technology has afforded all of us an opportunity. If you can't come in person, certainly you can tune in via Zoom. If you can't get on your computer, you can get on by your phone.
Yes.
Listen in. There is no excuse for having a lack of knowledge out here in our community. So looking forward to everybody coming out, making their voices heard. We have new schools that are being built. We have Davis Aerospace and decisions being made about where the students will be for classes. So please don't wait until it's too late. And then I get a host of inboxes on social media, emails. Somebody put my phone number up in the bathroom somewhere.
Oh, no.
But please stay involved. We can't do it without the citizens letting us know what they want, what they need, what they believe. Sometimes too often decisions are made and people come afterwards and want the decisions to be changed. It's a much heavier lift, as you know, once things have been voted on to change them. So please come out and make your voices heard before then.
Very good. As you know, I have 2 students in Detroit Public Schools. They both attend Cass Technical High School, as did I. And so I am in the trenches, understand the importance of the work that you do with Detroit Public Schools. And as you also know, my mother was a school board member back many years ago. So, DPS is in us. Is in our blood, is what we do. So anything that happens, everything that happens is of very much importance to us, but it should be to all of our citizens here in Detroit, because these are our babies, these are our future leaders, and we have to make sure we're giving them the best education possible from K all the way to 12. So we thank you so much for what you do with that. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on. I hope your mom feels better soon. Looking forward to seeing you guys out in the community doing all the work that you continue to do.
Thank you so much, Sherry. We appreciate you. And hopefully you'll be on Mama's show when she's better. You can come back.
I look forward to it. I look forward to it always.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
All right. So, and we are nearing the end of our Community Bell show. So, but I just want to thank everyone that puts this show on every week. It is so informative for our citizens here in Detroit and in Wayne County, just to know what's going on. Keep up with the topics of the day. There is so much that we cannot get it all in one show, but as the show comes on every week with the new hot topics, with the new things that are going on at the national level, the local level, we try to keep you informed, and that's what the Community Bell show is all about. Now, I don't see my engineer to tell me how much time I have, so maybe I'll just keep talking until they just put the screen on black. But again, I want to thank everybody for what you're doing. And I'm just going to do a couple of more shameless plugs. I talked about the okay, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.